All right, what's up, good people? Welcome back. We got breaking news. One of Trump's supporters. I don't know if this guy's a politician. I don't think he's a senator or nothing like that. I just think he's a influencer, really. Charlie Kirk shot in Utah, hospitalized. And this one says Charlie Kirk killed him. This is 8 minutes ago. Killed in at Utah Valley University. Utah is the home of the Mormons. This guy is super conservative. I don't. It really making no sense that he would get shot in Utah, but this is you know Google doing their job. They put Charlie Kirk right next to Trump after he got shot. I mean, I'm thinking the same thing. Like these two events must be connected. So I went from the dates. All right, Trump got shot July 13th of last year, 2024. Today's 9/10/2025, September 10th, and it's 424 days afterwards. Right, the 424th prime number is 2,939, 2939. As soon as I seen this number, I said, "Yo, I was just talking about this, the 29 and the 39, because on the other channel I was just talking about this. This exact Bible verse, Revelations 2:9 and 3:9, and it's just crazy. This guy gets shot 424 days after Trump's birthday. This is the prime number. 424th prime number is 2939. I mean, I was just talking about this because of the football game. The first football game of the season was the Dallas Cowboys, who got the pentagram star as their logo, and then the Philadelphia Eagles. There go Philadelphia right there. Revelations 2:9 and 3:9. Contain parallel statements from Jesus to the churches of Smyrna and Philadelphia, respectively, where he acknowledges their suffering and poverty, but also identifies a synagogue of Satan. That's why I put the two and two together with the star. Right, the Philadelphia is in here, like the Philadelphia Eagles played. The Dallas Cowboys who got the pentagram as they logo, synagogue of Satan. Revelations 2:9 describes their slanderous actions. Revelations 3:9 promises that Jesus will make them the false accusers. All right, because they say right here, composed of those who falsely claim to be Jews but are not. Let's take a look into that. I mean, this is what happened.
This is the event in Utah. Kirk speaking. A shot is heard, and then we stop the video here before he is struck, and he falls out of sight. And the people who took this video scrambled to get away to some kind of safety. Obviously, a lot of panic, a lot of fear, and people trying to just get out of there once this shooting went down. This is the event.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Stop, folks! Stop! Back up!
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Gee.
As I just mentioned, Charlie Kirk has died at a hospital.
Are you voting for Kamala?
I am.
Okay, what is her?
Yeah, and
what is her greatest?
Hey, free speech? Free speech?
Yeah, David said.
This is what Charlie Kirk was known for. He would go to these colleges and do these sit downs, and he want people to prove him wrong. You know, he's a starch Republican conservative, right? But okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know a lot about Charlie Kirk. I do know he's been doing these things, but you know, there's way more people interested in him than I am. I'm gonna just be honest. All right, but this is, you know, I try to stay on my script. All right, and there's several scripts going on, but when I seen Revelations 2:9 and 3:9, I said, okay, this is going with along with what I've been talking about. Oh yeah, man, it's good to be back on the Leo Soul channel. But yeah, man, let's let Zach deal with this, bro. I'm all ears. I'm all tuned in. See what's going on, man. I think we all probably because Kirk. I don't. It's hard for me to put him in a celebrity category. It's just like Dr. Umar. It's hard for me to put Dr. Umar in a celebrity category, but I think they supposed to be in there. I think they are. All right, here we go.
2025, date we circled back in January when we went through all the kill dates for the year 2025. And when we got to this date, we said, isn't it noteworthy that it's the day before September 11th? And we talked about why it was a perfect day for shooting news. Again, you can go back and watch the beginning of the year, and we went through all the kill dates. And this is something we've been talking about since the day Dick Gregory died, which was a long time ago. And the reason I titled this video, let's have
Shout out to Dick Gregory.
a real turning point USA, is because that was a false title that Charlie Kirk used, who was a pawn of the system. And for anyone who's offended by that, I don't care. I'm going to show you how much of a pawn of a system he is and why this happened today. The real reason. You're not going to get it in the BS news that lies to you all day, like Charlie Kirk and all these other pro left and right things, whatever you want to call them. Again, you're not having some kind of turning point if you're telling people to go vote for the Republicans or the Democrats. These two political parties are bought and paid for. They're wings of the same bird, and they've been screwing us, the people, for as long as they have existed, and it's gotten just absolutely awful in the 21st century.
That's what I've been trying to push on the other channel. Like, everybody's involved in this, y'all. Everybody's involved. Everybody's getting this oppression. This oppression they putting out. Everybody gets a piece of this. It ain't no race thing. It's everybody's involved. All right. So, and even with the race thing, you're going to see, because this is the 106th NFL season. 106, like 106 in Park. What channel was that on? The Black channel. Type out 106 is black. Type out Black Lives Matter is 106. Right? We going to the 60th Super Bowl. 60. It's the N word. I'll show you here in a second, but let's let Zach cook.
And again, listening to this crap today about how, if it wasn't for Charlie Kirk, Trump might not have won 2025. All of that is just total BS, you guys. Charlie Kirk has absolutely zero to do with Donald Trump winning in 2025. We were telling you 4 years ago why it would be rigged for Trump in 2025, just like we were telling you a year and a half in advance why 2020 would be rigged for Biden, just like before Trump had even won Super Tuesday in 2016, I told you it was going to be rigged for him. And yes, I do know that later that year, when things got so ridiculous, I said, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's actually for Hillary. Yeah, I do know I came off that, but I explained to you in the very beginning why it looked like Trump was the guy. Not to mention the first time he debated on the GOP stage in 2015, I said, it looks like they're putting the apprentice in the White House in the 2016 election. But yeah, if you're new to my work, there's a reason it's shadow banned. There's a reason the channel's been deleted 20 sometimes. It's because it's actually something that could create a turning point in the United States of America, not some chosen pawn like Charlie who tells people to vote for one of the political parties that doesn't give two shits about the American people, and all it does is lie to them, use them, and abuse them, and exploit them. And notice, Charlie Kirk's made a lot of money for serving this evil system. And again, it's hard to feel bad for a guy like Charlie Kirk. And here, listen, I haven't seen the news. I know the clips supposedly online, and people say it looks bad. I'm not even convinced any of this is real. It might be real, it might not. I'm going to show you how ritualistic it is and how it's synced up with Trump's July 13th hoax. And if you still haven't figured out that's a hoax, there's something wrong up here. Again, under the 13 stripes on the 13th of the month, where a few months ago they released the new footage, and you could see they were literally lowering the flag while it was going on for the made-for-TV shot for the dummies. Turning Point USA is 13 years old right now. I'm going to show you just how perfectly connected all of this is. It's undeniable. I'm going to show you why it happened at this college, Utah Valley University, Mormon land, reminding that Joseph Smith got smoked in 1844. Again, 44 is a big number here. It has everything to do with the kill date. It has everything to do with these recurring patterns. And I'll show you who's really behind this, whether the shooting is real or not.
Speaking about Philadelphia and the Dallas Cowboys, that was the total. It was 44 points at the end of the game. And I said, I keep on getting my channels mixed up, but I said the number 44 gonna be huge this NFL season.
But yeah, just the real turning point is America waking up to how their media and government is lying to them, using and abusing them, trying to scare them out of their rights and liberties. I took the time to listen to all three networks while I was working on this post, putting it together. You gotta love that CNN posts at 4:07. Little Trump shout out there. But on MSNBC, the idea is, are these people who are
As you can see, his logo is 47. There's a peel with the number 47 in it. The 47 is for authority, time, Republican, Democrat, judge, gavel, anything to do with authority is the 47. That's why Trump is putting the National Guard in Chicago as of yesterday.
Kirk supporters who are big gun advocates? Do you think they're starting to learn that that there's something wrong with these times and we need to do something because there's just too many shootings? And then you're hearing some of that on CNN too. Like, no, we don't give up our rights and liberties because of a shooting. Nope. There's nothing to learn from this crap, from this agenda. There's nothing like that to learn, propagandists. Nope. And the thing is, with most of these, gun lovers on the right, you guys would never do anything with your guns. You love the tyrants. You'll defend the tyrants with your guns. You can't see who the tyrants are. You don't even know who to point your guns at. You love the tyrants just as much. You think the left are the enemies.
That's why the Trump supporters are supporting the troops. I mean, the National Guard going into LA. They're supporting them going into Chicago. They're supporting them going into wherever, New York. All these urban cities. Guess what? In 2028, the joke's gonna be on you. You're supporting your own freedoms being took away. That's the funny part, because it's gonna just come back around. It's just two parties, so they play the mind game with you. They gonna come right back around. It's gonna bite you in the ass. So just stop all of it.
In a sense, yeah, but so are you guys. Both political parties are your enemies. And the reason we were really given the Second Amendment is, to protect ourselves. But again, that language of protecting ourselves from enemies, foreign and domestic. And people like Charlie Kirk have been, helping you not see the enemy for what it is, and instead thinking that you're doing the right thing by supporting it. No, anyone who has a brain knows that neither political party is worthy of your vote or your support. And there's just Turning Point USA just couldn't be more of a misnomer. And I'm going to show you how big of a joke it is, his assassination today, in light of Turning Point USA and the orange goon who wants to fuck his daughter named Trump. But yeah, let's get into this right here. Today's date numerology. Again, what makes the kill date the kill date? And if you're like, date numerology? Yeah, just stop, moron. Yes, date numerology, because the people who run the show are in secret societies that etch on the temple all as number. And everything they do every day is a number ritual, and it's super repetitive. It couldn't be any more repetitive. It's why every single time the kill date comes up, there's stories like this in some part of the world. So often, young celebrities are dead for weird reasons. And enter Charlie Kirk, who's only 31 years old, would have turned 32 next month. And it's unclear right now because the initial news, just all the scatter, they made it seem like he was dead. He had a bad shot.
Yeah, now they're saying he is dead. And 31, that's the 11th prime number. Tomorrow's 9/11. I'm pretty sure America's gonna do something to honor 9/11 tomorrow. It's gonna. And then Thursday night football too. The Washington Commanders getting ready for this war, because all three is like the axis of evil. They all lined up. Putin, China had a military parade 81 days after Trump's military parade, and then Kim Jong-un. So you got China, North Korea, and Russia all together 81 days after Trump's military parade. So everything is lining up. All right. Everything is lining up.
Neck. I heard some reports say the shot was up up close. It seems like now it's moved to a rifleman from 200 yards away who they don't know who it is. Anyway, let's first understand what the kill date is. It's a date that has numerology paths of 64, 28, and 44. And why does that matter? Again, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words is where this gains meaning. I learned about this in the 1926 book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. There are 4 numerical codes to the English language known as the base ciphers. They are based on the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26, the reverse alphabetic order in both orders with numerology. Kill equals 44 when you take the alphabetic order. K would be the 11th letter, I would be the 9th, L would be the 12th, L would be the 12th. 11 plus 9 plus 12 plus 12 is 44. The next cipher is the alphabetic order with numerology. Kill is 17 in that cipher. If you did take the abbreviated date numerology digit for digit, it would equal 17 as well. So you could factor that in. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, the word kill equates to 64, going from Z is 1 back to A is 26. And you see this over and over. The people who die on the kill date have the connection in their name. Charlie Kirk's full name is Charles James Kirk, which equals 64, okay? They said...
That just seems, because look, it's a transgender right there. Hold on, man. I gotta see if I got this clip right quick. I gotta see if I got this clip, man. Hold on. I know I saved it. Maybe I saved it. Okay, here we go. Yep, here we go.
Shooter was the Denver shooter was trans, the Aberdeen shooter was trans, the Nashville shooter was trans, the Georgia shooter was trans, the Philadelphia shooter was trans, the Uvalde shooter was trans, the Colorado shooter was trans, and now the Minnesota shooter was trans. I think one of the things that you see being pointed out by the Walsh types is that even if there is no clear ideology, there is something in the water with the untouchable nature of the trans identity until just the past really year that you could even talk about it frankly, and what appears to be a kind of underlying mental instability that tends to disproportionately give rise to these school shootings. The Denver...
That's crazy. I seen that transgender, I said, oh man, it reminded me of that.
Just seconds before the shot hit him, he was asked a question about transgender mass shooters, okay? That's not an accident. People need to look into who asked that question because no doubt they were part of the ritual. And for it to happen seconds later, like everyone's reporting, that shows you it was all part of the plan.
Oh, okay, now I see why. He said before Charlie Kirk got shot, somebody asked him a question about trans.
And theatrics. Or the planned assassination if he really was shot. In light of how they're paralleling this to Trump, I'm thinking already hoax. And maybe they got a, if they're going to report that he died, maybe they got a condo for him over in Israel, who he's always advocating so hard for. Anyway, he's used up his useful purpose. They'll bring in some other useful idiot to running Turning Point if that's going to be the story. But anyway, when you run it in reverse with numerology, kill is also 28. And notice the word shooting has the 44 and 109 connection. There's only one day of the week that equals 44, and that's Wednesday. And we just had a similar ritual with the Catholic school shooting on the 44th parallel in Minnesota. But shooting and Wednesday have the 44 value as well as 37. Again, he was asked a question about transgender mass shooters right before he got shot. That's the story. They said seconds before. So almost perfect timing. Again, mass shooter has this 44-64 connection. So often the mass shooter stories fall on the kill date as well. That's another common pattern. But you can see transgenders also got the 64. And from the election, if you turn on Fox News, it's all about how Trump might not have won without Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. Again, all that's just a bunch of bullshit. Again, it was rigged for Trump, no doubt about it. Trump equals 47. You could have seen this coming a million miles away. But yeah, notice it's 44 weeks in a day, right? 44 weeks in a day from the election. And don't forget, November 5th is the day in history. The Jesuits, we're going to get to the Jesuits, how they have their fingerprints all over this. Hold on, let me make sure that we're not having a problem here because somebody's blowing up my phone. I think we're good. Make sure we didn't have some audio problem. I know I uploaded a video yesterday and it sounded like the recording was from 200 years ago. I don't even know how that happened. Anyway, just following the pattern. The shooter's name, Charles James Kirk, 64 and 107. That's another value of shooting, 107. So we covered all the values of shooting. Make sure we didn't have some audio problem. I know I uploaded Fox News. It's all about how Trump might not have won without Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. Again, all that's just a bunch of bullshit. Again, it was rigged for Trump, no doubt about it. Trump equals 47. You could have seen this coming a million miles away. But yeah, notice it's 44 weeks in a day, right? 44 weeks in a day from the election. And don't forget, November 5th is the day in history. The Jesuits, we're going to get to the Jesuits.
Yeah, see, he skipped it. He was about to say, try to kill King James, the biblical King James. So,
that's how they have their fingerprints all over this. November.
Guy Fox.
Hold on, let me make sure.
Then his phone ring.
We're not having a problem here because somebody's blowing up my
He
phone.
got lost track. It happens.
For this story, who's credited with helping Trump win the election, which was totally rigged for him. Oh, no, I was making the point. November 5th is the day in history the Jesuits tried to assassinate King James. Remember, King James died at 58. He was a Freemason and a Rosicrucian. Freemasonry equals 58. Rosicrucian equals 58. Utah equals 58. The Mormons are very Masonic. They like to be called the Latter-day Saints now, but again, very Masonic origins. Joseph Smith and Brigham Young, both Masons. Joseph Smith died in the year 1844. He was shot to death in 1844. And about the 58 thing, again, Trump got 58% of the electoral college this time. Remember, Kamala, which equals 42, got 42%. She did the question her blackness thing on the 42nd day of the year back in 2019, which is the anniversary of her mother's death. But the first time around, Trump won the 58th election after announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower, and he had his convention in the Cavaliers Stadium right after King James won the NBA Finals on the real King James' birthday, and that was the year Prince died of Purple Rain 58. Vanity, his girlfriend, died that day, the year of the 58th Grammys. A lot of 58 rituals with Trump in 2016. It factored into this election. Remember, it was a King James thing back then. Then he suffers the assassination hoax that he survives, just like King James survived the assassination by the Jesuits on November 5th, the day of the election. And now you have this synced up with Charlie Kirk and Utah, which equals 58. You follow this? So, again, Charles James Kirk also has the 107 in his name, like shooting, and 64 going with the date and the word kill. Now, it gets even better. From Trump's birthday to today is 88 days. And remember, Trump winning the election was synced with the then 88-year-old Pope. Trump got 312 electoral college votes. The Pope dies at 88 on the 312th day of Trump's age. Then we get the first American Pope from Chicago, the 312 area code, who went to school in Philly, the 267 area code, as he becomes the 267th Pope. And don't forget who told you the new Pope was going to have something to do with Philadelphia. And don't forget, when the Pope died on the Rome's birthday, the 21st of April, 214, that's the Dallas area code. The acting head of the Vatican became the cardinal from Dallas. All area codes, all number rituals. And again, this is how it works. This is what they do over and over. But anyway, 88 days after Trump's birthday, want to guess what Turning Point USA equals? If you guessed 88, you're right on the money. 88 days after Trump's birthday, again, you turn on Fox News, that's what it's all about right now. Remembering Charlie Kirk. They're doing Remembering Charlie Kirk like he died. So I'm like, okay, is he dead? Is he in critical condition?
I ain't that.
Again, it's unclear right now. Well, we'll see where the story goes from here. But the point is 88 days. 88 days. And where did he turn you to? He turned you back to the Holy Roman Empire, right? Notice how Turning Point USA is literally like Holy Roman Empire. It has all four of the same values. 218, 187, 74, 88. Remember, Trump equals 218 and 88. Masonic is 74 in light of those Mormons. Society of Jesus is 187. That's the Jesuits. Washington, D.C. is 187. George Washington's 187 and 88. George Washington's also 74. The Mason that was looked on favorably by the Catholic Church because he wasn't outspoken against the church like a lot of the founders were. A lot of the founders warned. Again, that's a big part of the reason we have freedom of religion, was because in Europe it was Catholic tyranny and they ran the show. And that's why Jefferson and Adams, when the country was being founded, warned that when the Jesuits come out of suppression, they can subvert this nation. And no doubt they have. They moved the nation's capital to where they set up camp. Washington, D.C. is where the Jesuits set up camp when they came to America. That's the military order of the Catholic Church. Georgetown, their first university, was established in January of...
How did they know they was going to come out of suppression? To me, it seemed like it all was set up and planned.
1789. A few months later, you have George Washington as the first recognized president in the history books, even though it could have been men who came before him. But he was the one that was really favorable towards the Catholics. Go figure. Anyhow, look how Turning Point alone, like how it's often referred to, is exactly like the Jesuit order, right? 177.69. And just for the record, New World Order also equals 177 and 69, something these politicians and people on the news mention quite often if your ears are open. If you're listening to the news, JFK's assassination is being brought up today. Guess what? Today's 63 days before the Superior General's birthday. JFK in 63, right? And the thing about 63 is it's the 44th composite number. JFK was number 35, killed on I-35. Remember, Catholic equals 35 when you run it forwards, 46 when you run it in reverse. JFK was killed at age 46. Joe Biden, the second Catholic president, elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, becomes number 46, inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age after he lost his son at 46. And then Hunter Biden, who lived on, born on the 35th day of the year, got his character assassinated through the whole presidency. And again, this is the stuff they feed us, right? While they have these parties in office. During Biden's presidency, I mean, it seemed like the story we heard about every week the whole time was Hunter Biden and his laptop, right? Hunter Biden and his laptop. Hunter Biden and his laptop. Now Trump's in office. Epstein, another big 88. This is what we do in this country. We focus on all this stuff, this tabloid crap that really has nothing to do with us. It's like, are these politicians doing anything for us? Because all I see happening in America is things become more and more expensive. More and more people suffer from more and more mysterious illness that the world of medicine that we've invested so much in, including with our taxpayer dollars, doesn't have any answers to. But then when people come up with commonalities that they see and then they voice them out in the public, they're denounced as weirdos and conspiracy theorists. And then social media platforms that pretend to be private companies but are really the government, they censor people's speech and say, oh, no, get those crackpots off the internet. They're all a bunch of wackadoodle wrong people spreading false information. It's like, well, that's weird because they're all parents that have the same story about what happened to their child after they got a certain pokey doke about age 2. And I used to work in an autistic children's home, and I knew a lot of parents that had the exact same story. And I remember when Google took it all down in 2012. And for all you young people, this 21st century has been the absolute worst. And you know what came out of nowhere in the 21st century? Google. All these big social media companies, they're like literally controlling people's thinking and speech and have everybody like robots. You know, it's funny. I haven't been in the gym in 12 years, right? Because I blew out my shoulder 12 years ago, but now I've gotten back into the gym. I'm getting back to my old ways. I'm in there almost every day. I noticed something in there. Every girl is doing the same workout. And I don't think it's a bad workout. I just see all the girls in there doing the same workout move, all of them. And I never saw women ever doing this before. So when I got home, I just typed in, I actually thought about it after like a week of being in the gym. I typed in, who's the biggest female social media, body influencer, right? And this woman came up. Her page comes up. She has like 20 million followers. And like her whole page is like just doing this workout over and over. And I was like, look at this. This woman right here, who's supposedly the biggest influencer in the world of women's fitness, her whole page is like this exercise routine. I see every girl in this gym in this little podunk town I live in. They're all doing it. This is how, I mean, you guys, I see how they've made the world so robotic because people have never been more robotic. People have never thought more just in the same line with the exact same phrases. It's just, For anyone who lived before the 21st century, you are just getting to witness the downfall of everything: humanity, health, decency, common sense, individuality, everything. Just everything is so backwards and upside down. And then you got people like Charlie Kirk running around with Turning Point USA. What are you turning around, Charlie? Oh, what, has the Republican Party not been in power like bigger than anybody in the 21st century already? I mean, they had every branch of government when the 21st century began, when the towers came down in a big ritual, and then they scared the shit out of us and told us to give our rights and liberties and submit to a surveillance state. Is that who we should turn to, Charlie? The Republicans? They're going to make everything better? Please. And it's not like the Democrats did anything about it. No, they just made it even worse. Again, anyway, let me continue down the line here as we go through all the facts. So yeah, again, for people who don't know, the Jesuits run your nation. They run your nation. And that's the sad thing too. Most are like, who are the Jesuits? I never heard of the Jesuits. Who's that? They're the ones who gave you the calendar that says today's September 10th, 2025. That's who they are. So you're on their time. You're on the Jesuit orders calendar. Christopher Clavius, Jesuit priest, gave you the calendar. Look it up. And if you read about it, you'll see that there was another Jesuit priest who was working on the calendar, who's really the mastermind of it, but he died, and then it was Christopher Clavius who got it instituted, but it's all Jesuits. Who standardized the English alphabet with 26 letters at the same time the calendar was implemented? The Jesuits. Again, we're speaking essentially their language. They might not have been the originators of English, but the oldest English script does go back to the monk Burford of Ramsey Abbey from the year 1011 AD. By the end of the 16th century, English was standardized at the same moment the calendar came out. And I'm telling you, all world history from that point forward has been done by this code. Just go through your history book if you doubt it.